I mean, a lot of the political consultants at highest level Republican political consultants seem very consumed with knocking off Marjorie Taylor Greene or Thomas Massey. You don't have to agree with everything those people are calling for, but you can't say they're liberal. They're not liberal. I mean, Massey's kind of a libertarian, but he's a lot more conservative than, I don't know, Lindsey Graham or Michael Lawler by any measure. And yet they seem like they're spending 80% of their day trying to find a primary challenger for Massey and Marjorie Taylor Greene. Like, what is that? It almost seems like subversion to me.
They're so tied to the Israel first money. This is they're trying to crush Massey out in. And Massey's not perfect, right? MTG, I'm very close to MTG. She's not perfect. She flipped and went with McCarthy, but she's a firebrand and she's a fighter. And when a fight counts, she's going to be there with you.
Well, and they're both sincere. That's the thing. That's look, I don't agree with everything. I do agree with everything Marjorie says, but I don't agree with everything Massey says. But he's totally sincere. He's not getting paid to say these things. He means it. And isn't that who you want on your side?
They don't. Look, Luntz and these guys, remember, if you look back up at Capitol Hill, and I know you know the math here, we only have a handful of MAGA people, right? Yeah. If you look in the Senate, we got maybe Eric Schmidt, maybe Josh Hawley, both from Missouri. In the House, we got a handful. And because they look at Trump as a passing summer storm. It could be bad, but it's going to pass. And this is why I'm saying we have to have a sense of urgency and we're burning daylight. They just hope to tap President Trump along. And they'll get to midterms and then, 2028, and they'll just, Ted Cruz already had a big article in the Daily Telegraph. He's already putting his team together. I know it's totally random. It's totally random from your interview, and that Israel First has to have a candidate since they just got crushed here in the last couple of days. But it is because certain vested interests want people to kind of toe to a line, right? And if you fall outside that, they're going to come after you. And I think that's why it behooves us. Look, Fox just had the first interview, I think with Mamdani, right? He gets on there, 6 minutes. They got a big debate tomorrow night. The only question was about Gaza and Israel. They're asking this guy, with everything else going on, and quite frankly, how he's a Marxist jihadist, but he has kind of taken populism and talked about affordability. You think you might want to get in back of the Working Families Party and DSA and how they replicate the Trump, turning point, war room, precinct strategy for ground game for low information, low propensity voters. And this is why they're blowing guys out, because they had no money at first against Cuomo. No, we're not going to talk about that. We're going to talk about arresting Bibi Netanyahu. You haven't given Trump credit. And what do you think about the Gaza piece? Literally 5 minutes, the first interview, 5 minutes, all about Israel. This is just this obsession with it. And when I gave that keynote speech to kind of wrap up the National Conservatism Conference, which is kind of got a strong neocon, take on it, I said, to quote T.E. Lawrence from the 7 Pillars of Wisdom, what they told him at the time when he showed up at Cairo's military headquarters, they said, look, the Middle East is a sideshow to the main event, the Western Front. And that's right. The Arab Revolt is a sideshow to a sideshow. And I said, The Middle East right now for us, with everything geopolitically going on and the economic war with China and our nation sliding toward a civil war around insurrection with a party like the Democrats have an escalatory ladder of violence. The Middle East is a sideshow, and the Israel issue is a sideshow to a sideshow. That's full stop. And you can't let it be the central thing that you revolve around. And I'm a supporter of Israel, and I'm a supporter of the Jewish people. But the Israel first aspect of this has taken our eye so far off the ball, because they kept saying it's going to tear MAGA apart. It's not going to tear MAGA apart because it's not a big enough fundamental issue to tear us apart. And that's why we have to focus on the time that we have to really take down the central thing that President Trump will be known for. One will be some of this piece on the Eurasian landmass, et cetera. But the central thing, if he can accomplish it, and we must accomplish it on his tour of duty, is the deconstruction of the administrative state and the destruction of the deep state.